This is Heme.
And Jessica.
And you're listening to the Friendly Atheist Podcast. Please go to patreon.com/Friendly Atheist Podcast to support the show, get your ad-free and bonus episodes. And now, if you are a $5 a month supporter, you get video podcasts in addition to the audio one. So you could see our weird little faces while we talk about these stories and all of Jess's reactions.
It's a lot of facial reactions if you're not privy to my weird face.
And I will just have you all know, these are the same faces she makes to me when she thinks it's just audio.
I think it's just audio.
I mean, when it is just audio, you are seeing what I see every week.
I don't want to brag, but I set this whole thing up today and I didn't cry once, which
Nicely
is
done.
a real new thing. We were getting ready to record. I was like, got to put makeup on my stupid face. Just a lot to get used to. This is a different world that I'm living in now.
There you go. Congrats on putting on pants for the podcast.
I did not. I'm wearing shorts that I slept in.
There you go.
Ooh.
And with that,
you know what's worse is I showered and then put those shorts back on.
golf claps all around. Let's talk about the rapture that did not happen this week. Can you believe it?
I know. So I have gone from like, I'm kind of offline to I am actively like ostriching my life. Like my head is in the sand so deep because I simply can't deal right now.
When did you hear that the rapture was supposedly happening?
Yesterday.
Congrats.
Thanks.
So the day of the rapture.
Is that what it was? It was the day of the rapture.
Tuesday of this week was the supposed date of the rapture, which is a thing I did not know people even thought was happening until a few days earlier.
23rd of September. Where did they get that date from?
Oh, I will tell you where they got it from.
It's the 24th of September. Happy birthday, John Blumke.
Hey, there you go.
I'm going to forget to call you, so this is it.
If you're listening to this, it's because you were not raptured.
Congrats.
We were not raptured.
Yay.
So there's only a couple options here for what that means. One, we were left behind and the good Christians were taken away.
Would explain all this pile of clothes I've seen all over my neighborhood.
Correct. Another option is that, none of the conservative Christians were found worthy and we are all left behind.
Well, that's honestly, if they tried to levy that or tried to like say that's what happened, I think that would be the best pivot they could have done.
Or it just didn't happen because, of course, it wasn't going to happen. So I heard that people, for some reason, thought the rapture was happening on the 23rd. And my first thought is, where did that one originate from? Because I'll go back to years ago when this was a big thing before. But at that point, the rapture that was supposed to happen in 2011, that had months and months and months of buildup.
Yeah.
This one, I was like, this went from 0 to 60 in like a minute. Where did we decide the rapture was happening from?
I bet there's a really good think piece somewhere of just all of the history of all of the raptures.
There are many of them.
Oh,
yeah.
I bet.
Okay, so where did this particular rapture originate from? Even if some random people had suggested it might happen around now, this one took off earlier this month, like September, when a South African preacher, evangelist, his name is Joshua Mahalakela. He was on a podcast, which is called the Sent, like Penny, like the Sent Twins with a Z podcast. So a random podcast.
I'm sorry, we're not going to.
I know.
The Sent Twin, like, is it a financial literacy podcast?
I don't know, but it's hosted by twin sisters who look like a mix of the girls from The Shining and those Australian nurse twins who speak in sync and were all over social media like a month ago. And also they're South African. Anyway.
Also, they have great skin. I was trying to play with the clip to put it into the video feed. Couldn't do that. Didn't cry about it. Don't worry.
There you go.
Beautiful skin, these women.
Yes. So the twins host the show. I've never heard of them. I've never heard of this guy, but they interviewed this guy. And also, their channel has like almost 500,000 subscribers, which is to say they're not nothing.
Patreon.com/Friendly Atheist Podcast. What the fuck?
So they do have an audience. Okay, so they bring on this guy. I'll call him Preacher Joshua. And here's what he says. I will say it for you. Imagine me with an accent. I won't bore you with that.
Oh my God.
But here's what he says.
South African accents are hard.
Right. And racist if I try to do it. So here's what he says. I'll say this again. The rapture is among us. The rapture is upon us. Whether you are ready or you are not ready, the rapture in 14 days from now is going to take place. 14 days. ... I will say this again. The date of the 23rd, which is going to be the rapture of the church, this date is irrefutable. And one of the twins says, it's final? He says, it's final. It is. The other co-host, which day of the week is it? I haven't even checked.
Oh my God.
He says, I think it's Tuesday. This date.
And then he was like, see you next Tuesday.
And then he says,
wink, wink.
This date cannot be disproven.
Oh.
In fact, no one has disproven this date.
Well,
people have said a lot of things on the internet, but no one has disproven this date. No one. So I say again, you have to listen to what I say because the words that are coming out of my mouth are coming straight from the mouth of the Almighty God.
Oh, boy. I bet I dollars to donuts, that's his like alimony due date, or like when he has to pay his credit card bill or something like that. Or like something's
I have
coming to
some
collections.
shit going down on the 24th, so Rapture's happening the 23rd.
F. Oh.
Yeah. He then said, right after he said all that, they were like, so I'm paraphrasing. They're like, so you're 100% sure this is going to happen? He's like, no. I'm not 100% sure.
No.
I am 1,000,000,000% sure it's going to be on the 23rd. 1,000,000,000% is the actual quote.
Now, you are a former math teacher.
Yes.
What does 1,000,000,000% roughly translate to in the real world?
Someone doesn't know how numbers work is what it translates to. It's the same thing when Donald Trump's like, I'm going to lower medicine prices by 1,400%. It's like, so they're going to give me money for taking meds?
Oh, yeah.
No one knows. Anyway, as soon as he said 1,000,000,000%, everyone's bullshit detector should have gone off and been like, that's
I'm sorry,
not
it took until 1,000,000,000% for us to get here?
Yes. By the way, I was reading an Associated Press article about all of this, and my favorite part of it is they always break their articles up, longer ones, into here's the history of the rapture. Here's, in this case, they said, does the word rapture appear in the Bible? No. And then they went,
my God.
The AP.
There's no period, end of sentence. And look at their skin.
Yeah, the twins'
beautiful
skin.
I'm
looks
sorry,
lovely.
I know I shouldn't be fixated on what they look like.
So here's what I didn't know.
Issues.
So I find out, some preacher said this on a podcast and it went viral or something. And then it's like, okay, so what church does this guy run? How influential is this guy? Because, it wouldn't be surprising if there was some African preacher I personally have not heard of who has this big following. And the answer is no, he doesn't have a church. He's not an influential pastor. In fact, this is what he said in a different podcast. I assume it's the same interview. They broke it up into 2 episodes, but this is what he said on a different episode. The co-hosts, I assume in sync, asked him, so you're not like a full-time pastor or anything, like of any ministry? You just have a burning message from the Lord? He says, yes, I'm just a simple person. No title. I'm not an apostle. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a bishop. I'm just a believer. Simple believer in Jesus. Born again. Blood washed.
Blood washed? What does that mean?
Jesus was crucified and then the blood sprinkles all over you. And that's how Christianity works.
Could you scroll back up? Because I would.
You want to look at their skin again?
No, I want to look at. I thought he was wearing a collar.
Nope, that's just a
he's
suit.
Just wearing a suit.
He's just wearing a dark suit.
Oh, funny. Also,
so
I have to
just
say,
a random dude.
These women are dressed alike, which I'm sorry, you cannot be an adult who dresses like your twin as a professional.
I cannot believe you haven't seen the clips of the Australian twins who speak in sync without prior discussion.
That's so funny because I've been like down a rabbit hole of folie à deux, which is when like basically 2 people completely lose their mind together. And there's so many insane stories of twins just absolutely like there's a sweet pair of Swedish twins who went to England and just fucking ran into the motorway like 3 separate times. And it's all on video. It's insane. It's called Madness in the Fast Lane. You have to watch it. It's literally, you just watch these women run in front of a truck.
So this dude.
Twins are weird.
This dude. Preacher Joshua is like RFK Jr. who just gives medical advice but has no medical knowledge. He just spouts off And because he's in some position and you put a microphone in front of him, people are like, well, I guess that's how Tylenol works now.
Don't we know that?
Right. So this guy is like, yeah, I mean, I'm 1,000,000,000% sure the rapture is on the 23rd. And like,
and I know I'm some random dude.
That's exactly right. Again, 420,000 subscribers on these people's YouTube channel. And they're like, let's just platform this guy who knows nothing and makes it all up. So that's why a lot of people believed this was a thing. And because, I would argue, because he's talking with this very cool South African accent and he sounds so damn sure, they were like, all right, we're clipping this and doing Rapture talk over this online.
So this is the only person who pulled this out of his ass.
I mean, he appears to be the main person lobbying for, and he did it 2 weeks before the 23rd. He's like, in 2 weeks, the rapture is happening.
God, this is true. I feel like we just experienced one of those long form podcasts where it's like, where did this come from? And it's like all narrowed back to one guy, but it's like just 30 seconds of you Googling.
It was a high school prank that just got out of hand.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you actually want numbers for this, why did anyone believe this? One, you can't trace the source for this because no one's, I mean, not that you can't, but I don't think a lot of people talking about the rapture happening. What I saw in the videos I saw where people are like, the rapture's about to happen, they're not mentioning this guy. They're not mentioning the podcast.
Well, because it's all
over the place.
It's become the zeitgeist.
Yeah. So, but that in itself, I mean, the fact that people believe this shit, that's not necessarily weird. The Pew Research Center did a survey in 2022 where they asked people, do you believe Jesus will return to earth someday? As in, he's coming, he's picking up his friends, and they're going back up to the sky. Do you think that's happening? What percentage of Americans said, yep, totally happening? I don't know when, but it is a thing that will happen.
Someday Jesus is coming back to earth.
What percentage of Americans?
A quarter?
Worse.
No, because if you say worse, that means more than a quarter of
correct.
human beings in this country think that Jesus is coming back someday and are probably going to use that real ironclad knowledge to undermine economic and environmental.
I mean, what do they care? Jesus is coming back.
Yeah. I have such a clear memory of, God, what was that? Jesus Camp.
Uh-huh.
And
back in the day when that was weird.
Well, yeah. It was the first time.
It's like a 2004, 2006 documentary.
Right, in that neck of the woods. I think it's that there. I might be complaining it with something else. I might be complaining it with another doc I saw around the same time about like this family who is like obsessed with the oncoming rapture. And there was like a teenage girl who's like, I was really looking forward to learning how to drive, but I guess Jesus is coming back, so that's cool too. But I just have this clear memory of this woman talking about what the rapture is going to be like. And she's like, I'm going to be riding down from the sky on a white stallion with Jesus by my side. And like the image was so clear to her of like what that was going to look like. And this is so mean, but I just couldn't stop imagining this like non-athletic woman, like bareback on a galloping stallion, like just bouncing all over the place and falling off. And it's just something that pops into my head sometime because boy, I wish I was as
because
sure
you're like, I know how to ride horses. There's no way she does.
No, she does not. She does not seem to have the wherewithal to do that. Anyway, it's just a thing I think a lot about.
55.
I wish I was as sure about anything in the world as she was about galloping on that white horse.
55% of Americans.
That's too many.
Yeah, think Jesus is going to return to earth someday.
Do we have? I assume 55. It's broken down.
It is broken down. Evangelicals, 92%.
No, I'm saying, is it broken down by like it's happening in my lifetime or it's happening
they did not ask
before
about
the
lifetime.
heat death of the universe?
Before the heat death of the universe, 55% of adults.
I think that's genuinely a very different thing. Like I think there's a difference between I live my life like Jesus is going to come back someday and judge me, or I guess he doesn't do that. I don't know what
there
he
are
does.
Entire religious denominations like the Jehovah's Witnesses who are like, no, it's happening in my lifetime.
In my lifetime.
That's what the Bible said.
So I'm not getting my driver's license.
But when they started saying that like 100 years ago, and then they're like, oh shit, by lifetime we need to redefine that word.
Yeah, because Jesus said he would come
have
back.
These convoluted ways of trying to argue, no, it's happening soon. But the definition of soon can be stretched.
I feel like it also gets wrapped up in the idea, the world is 6,000 years old kind of thing of like, oh, well, if you just made up a thing from a book you read, then I'm not going to be able to kind of talk you out of that, I don't think. Have you ever heard, truly, this story of how the guy figured out 6,000 years is literally he like went through the Bible and was like, okay, so.
He did the lineage.
And it was just like, okay, so so-and-so begot so-and-so. And we know like Methuselah lived for 4,000 years or Methuselah?
Close enough. 900 something. I don't remember.
But I got the name right. That's all that matters.
Nicely
I
done.
hope I did.
So 92% of evangelicals believe it.
Yeah.
86% of historically black Protestants believe it. And strangely, 0% of atheists believe it. There's always that little sliver.
I wonder about these people, and are they just being chaos agents?
It is less than 1% of atheists believe Jesus is coming back,
there's
but
only
also
30 of us, so we can probably find him and just take an internet poll.
The point is, even the believers, in that case, the 55% of Americans who believe the rapture will happen eventually, they don't have a specific date in mind, which helps them deal with the cognitive dissonance of the fact that it ain't happening now. So anyway, clips from that interview with Pastor Joshua, not pastor, preacher, random dude Joshua.
Random dude Joshua.
They went viral on TikTok. Then the clips of him stopped and people just started talking about the rapture in general.
Does he pretend to have to like show his work at all? Does he say so it's truly just like the divorce date is coming?
Yeah. And the thing that I've been asked online via email and the thing that I've been trying to figure out is what's he getting out of this? And the answer is like, he's not selling merch. He's not doing like the rapture's coming on the 23rd. Give me your money now because I need it before I get taken up. Because I don't know what the rest of the grift is. Because if there's no financial grift associated with this, then what are you doing?
I mean, I don't know that all of these people are necessarily capital G grifters.
Right. Maybe he just genuinely believes it.
With the context I have.
So, ever since this went viral like about a week ago and people started talking about it, it's led a lot of Christians on TikTok to talk about how they're preparing for this day that they've been dreaming about their entire lives because they get to go to heaven.
People are excited about the rapture.
So excited because they will get to go on the stallion with Jesus.
And they're super excited for the rest of us to just...
Oh, the rest of you can suffer, whatever. I got mine.
That's pretty fun. I like to think my Catholic friends would miss me if they got raptured away and I burnt up into a crisp.
One video, there was a woman who's like, okay, I have my Bibles here. It's a whole stack of, like 2 stacks of Bibles.
Different versions?
She left notes in them for the rest of you who are going to be left behind. Because maybe...
the breathtaking arrogance.
When Jesus has his third coming, by that time... you will see these books and maybe you'll believe by then.
You know what? These people must be so fucking happy because it must feel good to be this sure about fucking anything. There is nothing I am this sure about.
Another lady, she was like, I'm kind of sad this isn't happening on my birthday, but it's okay because my next birthday will, quote, be a heavenly one.
My birthday is on October 1st. I would love for a rapture to happen on 10/1, my 40th birthday. I love this.
One lady, she made like 2 different 10-minute TikToks. And even she's like, I know you're not watching all this. She is correct. But she was like, she knew Jesus was coming back on the...
supposed to be short.
They don't have to be.
Oy.
She's like, Jesus is coming back September 23rd. So I requested the day off from work on that day. And then her boss didn't give it to her. And this led to a spat. And now she's fired.
What? She's fired?
She got
because
fired.
She asked for a day off?
Well, she asked for a day off that the boss is like, for what? No, you don't get an extra day off because you feel like it. I don't know what their deal was. I didn't watch the video. It was very long.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm always on the side of workers' rights, but
in general,
this person sounds like a nightmare.
So what I'm waiting to hear now, the rapture was supposed to be on Tuesday, and we are recording this on a Wednesday. It did not happen. I'm waiting to hear from random dude Joshua. I'm waiting to see videos from all these TikTokers who really made these popular videos about what they're doing on the rapture, because I want to see that. This is my joy.
Yeah.
I want to watch you now acknowledge that, maybe the heathens were right the skeptics were right to be like, what are you talking about?
I would not hold my breath if I were you.
For what it's worth,
has anybody
random
said
dude
anything
Joshua has not said anything yet.
Interesting. How do you think he spent his day?
I would like to know the answer to that.
Like, these are the things I wonder so deeply in my heart of like, you know, those days that it's like Sunday and you haven't done fucking anything all day and you're a waste of space and it's 4:00 and you still have your pajamas on or whatever. Are those people, imagine getting raptured and that was your last day. And it's just like, maybe that's why Christians are so motivated. They don't want to get caught in their gym jams by
there
Jesus.
You go. So I guess for now, since we haven't heard from these people yet, we can take some lessons away from this because guess what? All of this happened before, for those of you who are too young to remember it.
Sir Harold Camping?
All of this happened, about 15 years ago. Because in 2011, there was this guy, Harold Camping. He was a radio evangelist, and he basically staked his entire reputation on the idea that the rapture would occur on May 21st, 2011. How strong of a prediction was this? His company, Family Radio, they spent more than $5 million buying 5,000 billboards announcing that date.
I forgot about the billboards.
Billboards were everywhere. And so that's the thing.
Again, the confidence of these people.
Yes, unlike this week's prediction, which became popular maybe several days ago.
He called it.
This guy was on the record about his prediction months before the date. So we had a lot of time to build this up in advance, sell the merch, etc.
Do you remember why he picked that date?
Because the Bible foretold.
I hear people talk about numerology, and it's very clear to me I do not understand it, so I'm going to blame it on numerology.
You got it. It's astrology. They're making it up as they go along. So May 21st came and went, and if you remember this from 2011, May 21st happened. Of course, we were right about everything, and he was wrong. Camping then said in the immediate aftermath, because he did do interviews, he's like, you know what? God just wanted us to be ready by this date, but the rapture is going to happen in October, you guys. October. But at that point,
I remember
at that point, he and his ministry had become laughing stocks, and they remind us that, if you're a so-called prophet, you never attach specific dates to your religious predictions. What are you doing?
Harold Camping makes me weirdly nostalgic because I remember when I was an apartment leasing agent in Chicago and I had just started reading your blog, and it was literally spring of 2011, and it was just me being like a 25-year-old dum-dum just absorbing all friendly atheist shit I could find. And I was like,
you have made a big mistake in your life.
And here I am crying over video footage.
This is why prophecies are always supposed to occur soon and not tomorrow or not on a specific date.
So you mean vaguely.
All the good grifters. No, you gotta be vague with your promises.
Yeah.
This dude did not get that memo. And by the way, after Harold Camping, within months of him being wrong about May 21st, he announced his retirement. And then months after that, I think March of the following year, after October came and went as well, he formally admitted he was wrong.
Whoa.
Yeah, he said in a statement from his ministry, "We humbly acknowledge we were wrong about the timing." He did say that.
Is this the last time somebody apologized for being wrong about anything?
Yes. And in 2013, so 2 years after the fact, 2013, he died, but the ministry was still around. By 2018, and they were playing what do we got to play on family radio? Well, we got a lot of sermons by Harold Camping. And by 2018, they're like, we're going to stop airing those sermons. They're just embarrassing now.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So when you mention Harold Camping today, it's in association with his biggest lie.
Yeah.
Whether or not he actually truly believed it, he dedicated his life to spreading the gospel message. And his legacy is, you're a Christian huckster who used the Bible to convince people of a different kind of religious lie. So that backfired on you. And so now, here's the question for this week. What is the fate that awaits random dude Joshua? Because this prediction does not revolve around him, even though he was the dude that kind of fueled
he was
it.
the spark it. But
he's a random dude. Most people don't know who this guy is. He wasn't really trying to capitalize on this as far as I could tell. He hasn't come out and been like trying to rationalize why it didn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been 24 hours, so let's give him a moment. So but I think the clue is in the name. He's just regular guy Joshua. He's just going to moonwalk back into his regular life and be like, maybe next time.
I mean, if the twins bring him back for a follow-up podcast, they have a great episode on their hands.
There's another set of twins who only talk to each other, and they said that only one of them could survive, and then one died of a heart attack at like 32, and they think she just willed herself.
Jesus.
Twins are wild. Again, my mom's a twin.
So this is what happened. I mean, this is what happens when people remember the hits and forget the misses, right? They're like, this guy, I mean, pastors in general, they gave me something, they gave me hope, they gave me something to look forward to. Yeah. And when it doesn't pan out, we've seen this more recently. There are like pastors who make predictions about what's going to happen in the elections, Republican, conservative preachers who make a lot of predictions about a lot of things. And when they come, I always make a note of it when they make a specific prediction. Sure. And then I'll make a note on my personal calendar. Like, hey, today's the day he said this was going to happen. Go check on this one.
Tomorrow's kids soccer.
Yeah. Like there are pastors who are like, Donald Trump will win the 2020 election. And then after but they made that months before the 2020 election. And so afterwards it's like, hey, remember when you said you were going to quit all your ministry stuff if Trump didn't win? Well, he didn't win, so why are you still here?
I mean, but that's probably how the big lie got off the ground, is people did not want to put their money where their mouth was at all.
Yeah. The irony is that if you asked who really wished the rapture would happen, it'd probably be us. Like it's atheists.
They would scram out of here?
Yes, because the conservative Christians, the kind who truly believe this shit, can you imagine a world where those religious zealots just magically disappeared one day?
Ooh, that does sound nice.
And for good reasons, not for crazy violent ones.
No, I don't want them to die.
You wanted to leave. Guess what? You're gone now.
See you in heaven or wherever.
Like government might function. Healthcare would be better.
Can you imagine?
Right? So, I mean, I guess maybe a silver lining in all this is maybe some people, they are like, maybe I shouldn't believe what any religious rando says. And much less rearrange my life and quit my job and leave notes in my Bible for the people left behind.
It's so strange that somebody would be so this woman who's leaving notes in her Bible. I guess it kind of speaks to sort of the mentality of what is going on, because they are so keen to believe the last thing they hear. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's very strange to me that, everyone can see you texting now.
I see.
But it's just strange to me that it's like, I understand you've been told X, Y, and Z your whole life, and so now you believe it. But it's like, 2 days ago, I heard this on TikTok from South Africa or not even, just like, I heard this somewhere, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my whole world on its head. Like,
maybe be a little more skeptical. Maybe look into where you're getting these lies from. I mean, again, even if you want to make fun of the people who believe in the rapture conspiracy, we're seeing it in real time right now where the Trump administration just made up a bunch of shit about vaccines, about autism, about Tylenol, and they have no expertise. No. They're not getting this from anywhere, but a bunch of conservatives believe it too because they're not checking in on this. Yeah. And so maybe figure out where these people are getting their information from and maybe trust people who actually know what they're talking about instead of the loudest conservative in the room.
How come Elon Musk hasn't come out and said Tylenol doesn't cause autism, and B, I myself am autistic. What's so fucking bad about being autistic?
Because that would require him to go up against Trump, and he very much is still friendly and chummy with Trump, and he has a bunch of no, they're not fighting. They broke up. No, they hung out at the Kirk funeral, and he has too many contracts. He has too much money tied up in Trump.
Interesting. Man, so,
this happy Rapture Day.
This shit is really, really, really distressing.
Yes. Shall we move on to a different story?
I guess so.
All right. This is a much more low key, one of those like stupid local stories that I'm like, this made me happy. Good. Okay.
Where are we going?
My kids play soccer, and when they play soccer, don't know why, I'm not athletic.
No.
Right? So they play soccer, but the rule in our community is if you're playing in the community league, they have a place you can get uniforms from. And the uniforms have a couple things in common. It just has a number on the back. You don't really get to pick. And they're like two-sided in the sense that if you turn it inside out, one side is one color, one side's the other color.
Sure, home and away.
Home and away teams, it's easy to figure that out. But names are not on the back. No other logos are anywhere on those uniforms. It's pretty plain.
Yeah.
And you have to wear those uniforms if you are playing. I think this is how a lot of community soccer leagues,
100%
athletic leagues work too.
Mine was in the 80s and 90s.
So we're in Virginia here, and the Prince George County Parks and Recreation Department has their soccer league. Okay, fine. So basically, they give kids jerseys to use when they sign up for the league. But apparently one of the volunteer coaches, his name is Drew Collins, he asked the parents on his team that he is coaching, hey, would it be okay if I get all your kids' jerseys, just give them to me at the next practice? I'm going to add a Bible verse to the back of them, and then I'll give them back to you.
A Bible verse on the back?
He put in the place where like your last name would normally go, he put John 14:6.
Ooh, which one's that
one? Which one was it? It's the one that Jesus says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
So it's not even a biblical quote about good defense or scrimmage.
Yeah, no, it's just a random Jesus verse. Okay.
I really liked that joke. I just made him really proud of it.
Well done. So
such an asshole.
I think all the parents are like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I'm sure most of them were fine with it.
Yeah.
Because what the hell? It's fine. One of the mothers on the team, this is what she told the local news outlet. The coach had asked us if it was okay that we put a Bible verse on the jersey and told us the Bible verse and taught it to our kids. We had said, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's John 14:6. Okay.
Super not okay.
I mean, right. Like, there's an obvious reason this would be a problem, because when you bring religion into a community-run sports league, a game that is meant to be inclusive,
and these kids are probably like
to play.
8?
8, 9, and 10 is this particular league that they play in.
Definitely the right age for a culture war.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you put this Bible verse on the back, you are purposely alienating Muslims, Jews, atheists, those families, even some Christian families that are like, what are you doing? I came here to get away from church.
Right.
Not to...
I don't think that's a very Christian attitude, Evan.
That is exactly what they say.
I came here to get away from church. Have you ever met a Christian person in your entire life?
Yes, many of them are very bored. They call themselves Christians for reasons, but they don't like it any more than the rest of us do. Anyway, like, I'm pretty sure all these parents would be like, if a coach said to me, give me your kids' jerseys because I want to put some other quotation on the back, some verse from the Quran.
Yeah.
Say, Hail Satan on the back. I feel like they would understand why this is a bad idea. It's
just so strange. Like, it's so out of left field, forgive the sport pun. Like, you know what I mean? Like
why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, the jerseys are like, the small one is like extra smalls, 1, 2, 3. And like, just whatever number you get, like you get the size.
The numbers don't matter.
Yeah.
In youth soccer.
I'm a youth large, so I'm number 12 or whatever. Like, I don't think I ever got my name on fucking anything as a child athlete.
I mean, it's also irrelevant if they made the argument that this verse is uplifting. It's about Jesus. Like, no, it's not. Like you said, it's not a sports thing.
Yeah.
It's not even uplifting. It's saying, if you don't believe in me, you're going to be tortured for eternity. That's what the verse is.
Should have had that verse when Jesus is like, you really can't use your hands today. I want you to only pray with your feet.
Right. There you go. The soccer Jesus.
Unless you're wearing a different colored jersey, and then you get big gloves.
There you go. So then there's the coercion element. Like, if your teammates are wearing the jersey with the Bible verse, then you're going to want the same type of jersey.
Are you?
Did I say 8, 9, 10? It's 7, 8, 9. Same
my
thing.
God,
like,
even
they're
younger.
super young. So, but like, they shouldn't have to have anything to do with religion when they're part of this particular league.
Is the
point.
Age when they're all chasing the ball around the entire field.
If you've ever seen 7-year-olds play soccer,
hysterical.
There's no concept of spread out.
No,
it's everyone clumps around the ball at all times, and there's just a swarm of wasps that move different areas of the field.
God. That and watching kids play t-ball is truly one of the great joys of life.
I have to say, watching their soccer games right now, it's like it's on a weekend, and I know some parents are like, "Oh my God, it's a weekend, but I got to go watch the soccer game." It is the most relaxing thing because there's nothing to. If it was a good game, I would be watching the game. But again, swarm of kids mobbing one ball with no strategy involved. It's like, I'm sitting down. It's the fall. It's good. I'm reading a book. It's fantastic.
I was babysitting for my girlfriend, and we went. She's not my friend is 2. The kid I was babysitting is 2, and we took her to her little 2-year-old gymnastics class. Aww. Holy shit, that's adorable. Kids doing gymnastics. Are you out of your mind? It's the best.
Yeah. So on September 6th, a couple weeks ago, they played like their first game in those uniforms. And I guess some parent, I assume on the other team, sees this.
So all of the parents on the team were like, no notes. I love this for us.
Either that or they didn't say don't do it because they didn't want to rock the boat. But someone sees it and they call up the Parks and Rec department. And they're like, what the hell's going on here? And this is what one mother, the same one who explained, like, yeah, the coach wanted this. Here's what she says. Parks and Rec called our coach and said, hey, we're ordering you all new jerseys with nothing on them.
Good.
And told us we could not play if we had this on the back of our jersey. And then the county officials apparently delivered an ultimatum to the team, says the mom, that if they show up on the field with those jerseys, they will not be able to play for the rest of the season. Which I got to say is a totally fair ultimatum, because if you're not using the dress code,
correct thing,
then your team can't play. That's how it works. Now, here's the problem.
They have to have uniforms. Otherwise, it's just going to be like 20 Princess Elsas chasing a soccer ball around a field.
Now, here's one problem. As far as I could tell, the county did not have any rules in place about uniforms. It was tradition. They just like, here's the uniform we wear in our community for these games.
You think
but
that
there
you
were
don't
no
need
rules.
a rule specifically that says, please do not use our children to propagate your Christianity?
You would think. Now, there was an article about this that said jerseys in the past have been customized for years with kids' names on the back and even business names without an issue. Now, that's where they're going to get in trouble. Because if you're saying, well, a business can put like Bob's Hardware on the back of the jersey because they're supporting the team or whatever.
Yeah, I played for the Max and Irma softball team.
Nicely done. Like, if you're going to let a business do it, theoretically, some right-wing First Amendment type people are like, oh, we could sue over this.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the problem. In fact, the coach apparently has a lawyer. I don't know why, it's 7-year-old soccer, but the coach's lawyer sent a letter to the district, which he then posted on Facebook because he's big proud of this, threatening to sue them if they did not allow the kids to compete in 7-year-old soccer, because why handle things calmly when you could blow it out of proportion and promote your own business?
Stupid question, but you said they're reversible. Did he put the verse on both sides of the jersey?
I don't know if theirs are reversible. I know mine are.
Your kids are. Gotcha.
Anyway, so the county, I think their ultimatum here was ethically the right thing to do, but legally, I don't know that they were in the clear. And I don't know that this is worth a potential lawsuit at a time when conservatives are like so eager to destroy any institution that they claim is hurting Christians.
This does feel like maybe an acceptable solution would be.
Yeah, what would your acceptable solution be at this point if you're the county?
If I'm the county, I would send a letter to everybody who's in charge of teams and say, we understand there was some confusion about what you can or cannot put on our jerseys. We are not doing anything about it this year, but starting in 2026, these are the standards. Sure. You can either have your sponsor, your last name, or nothing. That's what I would say. I don't. Yes, I think they are. I think you're incredible. You're absolutely correct that morally the county did the right thing. But yeah, I feel like this is one of those, like, not to roll over, but like let's not.
You screwed up. Just take the L, take the L, and we'll deal with it later.
And it is silly that now like every single law has to specifically say, and also you can't add a cross to this thing, like, which is not a.
You have to add the Christian clauses,
right?
So that conservatives don't try to take advantage of your leeway.
And it's like whack-a-mole. This is exactly what all this shit is like. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. I really thought that Christians could be chill about children's soccer for fucking once. God, imagine if one of those 7-year-olds isn't sure about their gender. Jesus Christ, they're going to burn the league down.
Yeah. So all of this happened about a week ago. I said they played on September 6th. That's when someone noticed the jerseys. They made a phone call. So the following week, because of a local event, all the soccer games were canceled anyway, which meant September 20th, this past weekend, was the next time they could play a game at all. And so the question is, are they going to play with the Jesus jerseys or nothing? And basically the coach and their next opponents, they all basically put out a statement saying, if the county doesn't allow us to play, because now they're Christian martyrs.
Sure.
If they don't allow us to play, we're just going to move to a different field that's not like the county's official fields, and we'll play a scrimmage because the county's not allowing us to play, and how dare they offend our rights.
Hey, Hammett.
Yes.
What's a scrimmage?
Fake game that doesn't count for anything.
I really thought I would get you with that one.
Which, you think I don't know? All I play are scrimmages. I was on soccer. I did soccer.
You don't have crossword scrimmages? What are you talking about?
We totally do. There are practice crosswords at tournaments. Anyway... They were like, fine, we'll play our own game if you don't let us play in the league. Cool. Which, by the way, all 7-year-old soccer games are technically scrimmages as well, because they don't count for anything.
Yeah, unlike the serious Champions League of 7-year-olds in Virginia.
Yeah. They don't have the Premier League for 7-year-old youth community soccer.
Yeah, Premier's better than Champions.
This week, the attorney was like, by the way, my deadline for this is like, let's say earlier this week, because I don't know, the Rapture's coming and he had to get this taken care of.
He has to write in his Bible.
The county chimed in with an update.
Oh.
And 2 parts of it were interesting. One part said, by the way, and I'm quoting, not all parents of affected children were informed in advance of the uniform alterations. So they knew something about this.
Ooh, okay.
Some parent on the team is like, what the hell happened to my kid's jersey?
Which means somebody else was either actively withholding the information from the parents or did not see fit to inform other parents, which I thought Christians were super into. Like, I have to like supervise and consent to everything that ever happens to my child from the ages of negative 9 months to 18.
Unless you don't like what I'm doing, in which case I'll do it anyway. Yeah. So some parent was on the team, was not aware this was happening, and the county knows about it.
That's an uncomfortable position to be in.
Yeah. But they also said, look, people are accusing us of hypocrisy, by admitting we hadn't considered the possibility that someone might want to put
They admitted that they could be hypocritical?
Well, here's what the county official said.
Okay.
While previous alterations, such as players' names or sponsorship logos, have previously occurred without complaint, participation in county-run athletic leagues has not historically included having to make one's religious preferences known or displayed.
Wow.
As such, the addition of religious messaging on county-purchased uniforms for a county-run program presents complex First Amendment considerations. And so a policy review has thus been launched into the county's legal obligations to local government-sponsored programs.
Okay.
Which is fine. The county's saying, look, we think you're not allowed to do this, but like this has never come up, so we haven't thought about it before. So we are having our lawyers look at it. Which is
a valuable use of everybody's time.
But for now, the county then said, we will resolve this in a sensible way right now because we're not interested in getting involved in a lawsuit. Here's what they said. No player will be excluded or removed from participation based solely on uniform alterations as long as the alterations are approved by the player's parent or guardian. So if this team wants to have their John 14:6 on their uniforms.
But they all have to.
If the parents say, I'm fine with it, then go ahead. We're not going to punish your team for that. In the meantime, like you said, we'll have our lawyers look at this. And if we need to institute a policy in the future, we will have it ready then. So that makes sense. I think that's also the right solution for now, because the county fucked up by not having a policy. And someone took advantage of that.
Fuck up by not having a policy. The county's doing their best to try to keep a community on its feet and did not think that bad faith actors were going to take up this much of their...
The county failed by not assuming Christians would be bad faith actors. That's their mistake. You got to know better at this point. Conservative Christians will always take advantage of these types of loopholes to impose their will on everybody else. And if any government agency doesn't know that's going to happen and doesn't take contingencies for that, they're like, oh yeah, we have a flagpole. Any group can put up the flag that they want. Just ask for permission. What do you think Christian groups are going to do? What would Jesus do? Should be the mantra of all these government agencies, and just assume the worst.
But like, how are you supposed to live your life that way? Like, I cannot go through my life like imagining every hole that might pop and just like go through like plugging them up. That's an insane way to live your life.
Government agencies should assume conservatives are always going to do the worst possible thing and then plan for that. And again, I get why they didn't think of it for 7-year-old soccer. But now you've learned your lesson. Now you got to plan for that.
I don't know. Fuck me. I thought the First Amendment kind of had this shit covered, that you can't make kids your little billboards for your...
I don't know what you were talking about. There is no First Amendment anymore. Doesn't exist. They got rid of that one. The Second Amendment is now the First Amendment. So adjust accordingly.
I'm going to start jimming the camera.
There you go. So, interestingly enough, the coach has chimed in. He said, you guys, I did not go rogue with these the Bible verses on the back, because he's responding to the parent who apparently didn't say it was okay.
Sure.
He said, I didn't go rogue, and that the parent who wasn't informed in advance, he just wasn't communicating with his wife. He said that. Here's what he said. He said the dissent from that one parent was due to miscommunication. He said, quote, one of the child's parents, the mother, verbally consented at the first practice. However, she did not communicate it to her husband. Had they communicated, this would have never been an issue. And then he added,
so it's somehow a woman's fault still.
Always. And then he added, impressive. I would like to sit down and have a cup of coffee with them sometime. Which I'm sure they're eager.
What does that mean?
Why does
that feel like a veiled threat
Probably
to me?
Because he wants to be a Christian counselor for this couple that doesn't share every conversation they've ever had with each other. Because again, by the way, this idea that the wife's like, yeah, I guess you could put the thing on the back. That is such a low priority in my thing of like conversations I've had today. Would I tell anyone about that? No, it's like in one ear, out the other.
I spent like 3 hours with a 2-year-old and I could keep nothing in my head besides make sure she's still breathing the whole time.
Do you know how many things I've signed kids up for and then just didn't tell?
You just give them a literal stamp with your signature.
I'm sure I signed up for this. Did I tell my wife about it? No, it's a thing we did and it wasn't important. Anyway. This is why you don't sign up to be a volunteer coach if pushing religion on kids is your priority. You are just creating problems where no problem has to exist.
I have to think that, like, in America anyway, I think little league, kids leagues with volunteer parent coaches, that has to be maybe like the most volatile situation. I have more memories of being a child shaped by coaches who are just fucking losing their shit for no specific reason, or like screaming at kids, or like the dad's yelling at the coach because Caitlin is supposed to play shortstop, not catcher. It's just like, could we just like let these kids run around a little bit and have fun and like learn how to lose gracefully and learn why teamwork is important?
I did not enjoy my years of youth soccer because I remember so much run laps around the field as warm-ups or practice. And I go to my kids' practices a lot of times. I'm like, how come no one's making them... They will do scrimmages. They will not just run aimlessly around the field for warm-ups. They do other warm-ups.
They don't do that anymore?
They don't do that anymore, at least
those days.
in our league. But
God, I went to that gymnastics thing yesterday, and like the difference between the gymnastics I went to as a toddler would just like throw you up on a full-size balance beam and wish you luck, versus this wonderful magical gym that this little toddler gets to go to where everything's jungle themed and they get to roll around.
I have also been to that sort of gymnastics practice where it's like you have foam like thing. So if you do a flip, you land in like a happy place.
Can you imagine? I try oh boy.
When I did gymnastics, there were just chains on the ground for us to land on.
Nothing turned me into more of like a boomer yelling at a cloud than when I was teaching riding lessons and I would have like 3 riders in an arena and they like couldn't organize themselves. I was like, when I was 10 years old, I was in a lesson and there was 20 horses in the arena and you just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'd been on a horse twice and my instructor was just chain smoking in the middle of the arena, ignoring me like, you can figure this out. Kids these days.
Shall we move on?
I guess.
All right. This is a fascinating story in Hawaii.
Okay.
It involves rebuking the U.S. Supreme Court, but the way it got there is so weird and convoluted that I went down my favorite rabbit hole of the week, just trying to figure out what the hell's this story about. Okay, so here's the question. Here's the backstory. 100 years ago.
Oh, boy. Oh, God.
You know it's a good story. 1922.
100 years ago in Hawaii, this is going to be an ugly story, and white people are going to be the villains.
Right. In 1922, the governor of the then territory of Hawaii, not yet a state, he sold a 4-acre plot of land to a dude who was a trustee for the Mormon church. And he sold it for $20 of, I don't know what that amounts to today, but whatever. The contract for that land included a restriction that said the land had to be used, and I'm quoting here, for church purposes only.
Okay.
And if you ever use this land for anything else, the contract becomes null and void, and the state gets the land back.
Okay.
Literally, I'm reading you what the contract said. The land covered by this grant is to be used for church purposes only. In the event of its being used for other than church purposes, this grant shall become void, and the land mentioned herein shall immediately revert and revest in the territory of Hawaii. Okay. So they had some land for whatever they were going to use it for, and also they were going to have a cemetery and for the church members or something. Okay. Whatever.
I'm sorry, a beach cemetery? That can't be it.
I don't know if this was on the beach.
I don't
know. It sounds like a bad idea waiting to happen.
Anything about topography, but I know that sand is not a good burial site.
Part of the rabbit hole was I'm like Googling the area, and I'm like, I don't like this is just a random intersection at this point.
It's
on the island. Like it's not literally on the beach.
I don't know why I'm
it's
asking.
Somewhere, but like. It's you would never know it's anything church related. There is not a church on the intersection. It's 4 acres as far as land goes. It's not a ton. So it's like it's just vacant property that's there. So here's the thing. In the year 2000, that land was I mean it had sold ownership over the years and they sell the deed and all that. In the year 2000, that plot of land was sold to a company called Hilo Bay Marina. And in 2015, one of those parcels was sold to another ministry, which sounds like it would be a religious thing, but it's not. Long story short is right now, the land is owned by a guy named David.
Classic David.
Who's running he has a business or he wants to own a business. And he's like, this land would be good for me to build my business on. And so I want this land. And he owns the companies. He's had this land for years. Okay, that's it. That's not controversial. There's nothing weird about it.
But that violates the contract.
Does it? So that's the thing. In 2022, this guy basically sued the state of Hawaii. David sues the state of Hawaii in 2022 saying, I want to develop this land for my stuff, but the state's not allowing me to do it because of this clause in the contract, because I can't use this land apparently for anything other than religious usage.
Which is what the contract said when you bought the piece of land.
But he says that thing in the contract, that's unconstitutional. That's it. You can't have this in the contract from the state, because this is a state-owned contract. They sold it to this dude. The deed is now in his possession, but the state has no right to tell me that I can't use this land unless it's used for religious purposes. That's his argument. So he sues over that. He says the state can't force me to abide by a religious restriction. And by the way, the fact that this restriction even exists, that violates both the Hawaii Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. And his lawyers basically said in one of their briefs, The Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court, has, in no uncertain terms, repeatedly confirmed that the Establishment Clause forbids both state and federal governments from aiding all religion to the exclusion of non-religion.
Well, wait, I don't know that. Could you start that sentence again?
Basically, you're telling me I can't use this land unless I'm using it for religious purposes.
But he said SCOTUS has been...
They've been good about the Establishment Clause.
Have they?
In general.
Have they haven't?
No. But historically, what he's arguing is that you can't tell me I can only use this thing for religious purposes, but not secular purposes. And even with the Supreme Court, they haven't said that's wrong or anything like that. He's like, so I'm right here. That's his lawyer's argument. The state said...
Go fuck yourself.
The state said that original restriction, you got to use it for religious purposes. Well, that is tradition, which is the Supreme Court's preferred argument here. They said it is a, quote, primitive form of zoning, like this is what we did back in the day, and therefore it's still valid even if we could not do it today. The fact that it happened 100 years ago, that's how we did it back then. So don't blame us because you don't like the rules.
I'm deeply uncomfortable being on this side of this argument.
So they also said there are plenty of examples of laws that have religious roots, like this one. For example, blue laws that say you can't open up stores closed on Sunday. What did David's team respond? They're like, it doesn't matter if your law has like religious roots, because at least with the blue laws, they said, there could be argued that those have a secular purpose. Don't keep a store open on a Sunday because we all need a day of rest. You could make a secular argument for that. That's not a religious argument, but you can't tell me, he said, that I can't use this land for a secular purpose. I got to build a church on it or something. You have no right to do that, he said.
This feels like the flip side of another story we talked about where a dude wanted to put his ministry right in like a downtown area somewhere. And everybody was like, please don't. You're going to block up all the traffic. We were reserving these 2 square...
In Idaho,
In Idaho, we're reserving these 2 city blocks for retail because this is what's going to... So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could see this as a zoning argument of like, if... Yeah, okay. So, because I'm thinking of like a forest preserve or something like that. Like if the state owns it...
Let's say they own a forest preserve. Could they have said 100 years ago, by the way, this part of the forest that the county owns or the state owns has to be used for prayer circles and you can't do anything else with it? It's like, yeah, but that's what we did back in the day.
Sure,
but this guy's saying it doesn't matter. You can't enforce that today.
Does the fact that it was a territory when that contract was written come
irrelevant?
Into anything? Is it irrelevant?
Their argument is still, whatever, this was the state-owned land and we said that back in the day, and so you still got to abide by that. Anyway,
all right.
The judge, the lower court judge who got this case, basically agreed with the state, and he said the deed restriction is legal, and that the original agreement is secular in a sense, he said, because it allowed for any religious organization to benefit from the property. They were not endorsing one religion over another, so it's totally fine.
I have a question. What if you swapped out church...
Dottie's mad about it,
shut
too.
The fuck up, Dottie.
Yes.
Apparently, you guys can't hear Dottie when she barks, but it's hella loud for us.
Yes.
If you swapped out church or religion or whatever and put in nonprofit...
Doesn't matter. It said specifically religion.
Shut up.
It said specifically religion.
Okay.
And the judge is like, I don't see that they're endorsing a religion, a particular religion.
Yeah.
And he did not care about it's religion over non-religion issue. Anyway, long story short, this is not even the point.
I know, but I want to talk about it anyway because this is what I love to do. Like, people are playing with the definition of what a church is, right?
Yeah.
Like, so can somebody just put like a youth hostel and be like, this is our church, or like a homeless shelter. This is a church for us. I mean, in theory,
you could find a loophole that satisfies this, but this dude either has his principle or he doesn't want to play games about this. He's like, I want to use this property for my business shit. Let me do it. I have every right to do that.
Fucking classic Dave.
So his lawyers appealed that court decision, and the Supreme Court of Hawaii is like, we'll just take this directly from here. So the Hawai'i Supreme Court, after years of this being in litigation, they issued their decision this month. Unanimously, they ruled that the religious use restriction for this land was unconstitutional.
Okay.
So they struck it down. They said, yeah, you can't have that in the law. They said the deed restriction was not an early form of use zoning. Like, this is not tradition. What are you talking about? And they said that you have to use it for religion or you can't have it and the state gets it back. That violates the state's establishment clause in our Constitution.
Yeah,
so
I
good,
mean,
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the justices said it is ridiculous to consider historical practices here because, unlike the U.S. Constitution, Hawaii's Constitution...
It's like 80 years old.
Yeah, it is not like historic in that sense. And it was created in like 1950s. And there's nothing in the record to indicate that the framers of the Hawaii Constitution, much less the electorate, considered such state actions consistent with the Establishment Clause they accepted when they adopted this Constitution. So if you want to talk about historical practices for the state of Hawaii, we have to look back to the 1950s when they wrote the Establishment Clause and not when it was a territory that was run by a very different type of government altogether.
Yeah.
So interesting. All of that's good news. It means the property is no longer limited by religion. I mean, if you want to build a church on it, you can, but it's not restricted to that, which I happen to think is the right answer. Now, here's why we're talking about the story. It's not about that.
Oh.
The reason is...
Well, okay, well then, should I erase the last 25 minutes of this podcast?
The reason we're talking about this story is because one of those Supreme Court justices, his name is Todd Edens, he agreed with that decision, but he wrote a 40-page concurrence saying, I agree with the decision, but I have my own reasons.
Oh.
And Slate.com, their lawyers the journalists who write about the law, they called it, quote, the most withering indictment of the Supreme Court ever by a sitting judge.
Tell me
Basically,
everything.
This guy, Edens, he denounced what the John Roberts Court has said about religion over the years, basically saying, excuse me, we have church-state separation in this country.
This is what church-state separation looks like, motherfuckers.
I'm telling you,
and
all
40
pages were a delight to read. Let me highlight just a few of these things that he wrote. He said, I agree with the majority's opinion, but I want to write separately because I believe the state's Establishment Clause, quote, has a pluralistic purpose and secular spirit grander than the majority suggests.
Holy shit.
He writes, as jurists have long known, and as the people of Hawaii who ratified our state constitution over the years understood, the promise of religious pluralism and secular government depends on a durable wall separating church and state. Without it, religion, government, and civil society suffer.
Oh.
Then he says, Hawaii should not rely on friggin' John Roberts to inform us how to interpret our Establishment Clause, because our Establishment Clause is way stronger, apparently, than the First Amendment's. Here's what he writes.
Whoa.
If the Supreme Court decides a case based on mission, text trickery, originalism, or imagination.
What's text trickery?
Like, oh, you're reinterpreting the Second Amendment to say anyone can have a machine gun?
Got
Bullshit.
you.
Text trickery, originalism, or imagination, then that case may have little value to a state that prefers a more principled way, or an interpretive approach that does not force contemporary society to pledge allegiance to the founding era's culture, realities, laws, and understanding of the Constitution.
Ooh.
He goes on.
So this is not just him slamming any particular person. This is him going after originalists writ large,
the
right?
Conservatives on the Supreme Court, yes. He says, the Roberts Court casually dismisses the lessons of American and world history, the warnings of prominent early Americans, and the judiciary's storied legal minds. Bad things happen unless government and religion are completely separated. The court ditches neutrality. He's talking about his court. The court ditches neutrality. Oh, I'm sorry. He's talking about the Roberts Court.
Oh, gotcha.
They ditch neutrality and boost accommodation over the wall of church separation. It flirts with the true harms the framers foresaw. coercion, exclusion, and civil strife.
Oh my God.
It invites state involvement with religion, and it exposes minority faiths and non-believers to majoritarian impulses.
Majoritarian impulses? That's my new band name.
So he goes on to describe major church-state rulings from SCOTUS and how recent ones, and how they basically have chipped holes in the wall of separation to the point where, quote, now the government must equally treat secular and religious entities in public funding matters, even when taxpayer funding directly supports religious indoctrination. Here's how he concludes that section. Taxpayer funds now flow to religious institutions. So the government collects money from non-believers under the threat of jail, meaning taxes,
tax evasion,
and uses some of it to support religion. And since not all religions will receive public funds, the government forces minority faiths to support other faiths or else. The court, the Roberts Court twists text, history, purpose, precedent, and public meaning to offend the First Amendment's character of government structure and the Constitution's separate sovereignty structure. Today's court often rules not because the Constitution says so, but because partisan preferences and personal values say so.
Oh my God, I need a cold shower after that.
Then,
that did it for me.
And then he goes for the jugular when he talks about... he's not done yet. Then he talks about Joe Kennedy, the high school football coach, who's like, I have a religious right to pray at midfield for an audience after games. This guy has been writing
this in his brain for years.
Yes. SCOTUS sided with Joe Kennedy, even though the dissenting judges, like Sotomayor, she pointed out, like Neil Gorsuch, who wrote that decision, lied about the facts to support what he wanted to decide,
Doesn't that make you fucking crazy?
Yeah. Here's what
lie.
Here's what Hawaii's Edens says. History is prone to misuse. The current court, Roberts Court, shrinks, alters, and discards historical facts that don't fit. It, quote, handpicks history to make its own rules, missing the broader context of a constitutional provision's original and contemporary purposes. Pretend law based on pretend facts and unsound methods has no place in Hawaii law.
Jesus.
And then he says,
Christ.
talking about the case that's actually in front of him, he's like, this is a classic violation of our Establishment Clause. And he says, the state's purpose in retaining a reversionary interest. Why are we going back to like, what are we doing? It's not secular. Like the only reason Hawaii would want to retain you got to use this for religious reasons. That's not secular. It's religious. The government does not just accommodate religious practice as a condition of property tenure. It forces faith-based use of the land. It conditions ownership and land use on the advancement of religious activity. The state compels religious use and excludes all secular purposes. It favors religion over non-religion. And basically saying this is why you can't do it. Wow. And the final words are saved for like Roberts himself. Back then in the big games when John Roberts was being confirmed for the Supreme Court back in the day.
The big games?
The big games. Back then, the Roberts Court called balls and strikes based on the pitcher and hitter. Because John Roberts is like, my job as a Supreme Court justice is to call balls and strikes. Bad enough for the integrity of our judicial system, national and subnational. But now, pitches that bounce to the plate or sail over the catcher's head are strikes just because the ump says so. Pretend law is not law. State constitutionalism makes it easy to consider Roberts Court jurisprudence white noise.
Fuck me.
And what Slate's Dahlia Lithwick and Mark Joseph Stern, who write fantastically about law, what they said, Justice Edens didn't leave anything on the field. He is saying what nobody else, at least in the judiciary, seems able to say about the Supreme Court right now.
So what is this just the first brave person who stepped out and did this? Or is this the first time something like this kind of came together and it's like, okay, this is exactly what we're talking about. This is an example of something the Supreme Court's been fucking up. And
I would argue this is not the first time a judge has kind of pushed back against what the Roberts Court is doing. We've seen it with the Ten Commandments decisions
that's
where
right.
the judges who strike down the 10 Commandments laws, they go hard at, what are you talking about? This is tradition.
Yeah.
But they go after the conservatives who are filing the lawsuits, not so much the Supreme Court for ruling the way they do.
I see.
They'll call out liars.
Sure.
But they don't necessarily go after the Supreme Court. And this Hawaiian Supreme Court justice is saying what the Roberts Supreme Court is doing is bullshit. Back here in Hawaii, we do it the right way.
Which, I mean, golly, Hawaii has to have one of the most fraught histories of any state in the union. And God bless him for actually stepping up to the plate.
Kudos to this dude. I mean, he didn't even need to write that. He's like, I already voted the right way and we made the right decision. But while I'm here, I got 40 pages for you all just to tag on at the end.
Hey, Hemant, imagine if you were British or Australian or not American and you had to wade your way through his long baseball metaphor. Because I feel like balls and strikes are confusing enough for...
We'll talk about cricket,
for non-baseball people to get. But boy, that must have just been straight up gibberish.
So I got one last story for you after
hold on.
this. Yes.
I'm going to try to find a joke somewhere about the Supreme Court is supposed to call balls and strikes, but in the last few years, we've realized actual umpires in actual baseball are actually not very good at calling balls and strikes.
And they're getting rid of them.
And they're getting rid of them.
To some extent next year.
There has to be a joke or a metaphor or a TikTok in there.
ChatGPT will soon decide whether a law is legal, and the Supreme Court will just be there to rubber stamp it, is where you're going with that.
Well, that wasn't
Thanks
where I
for
wanted
that
to be
boost
going.
of optimism.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, one last story for you here. It involves the 10 Commandments. Last we left off, where we left off on this, Louisiana passed a law to put the 10 Commandments in every classroom.
Yep.
A federal judge said you can't do that.
Correct.
Louisiana appealed that decision, and an appeals court said, yeah, what the other guy said, you can't do that. Okay, that's what the Fifth Circuit...
But they have money, so they can keep doing it.
They're still fighting that one.
Yeah.
In Arkansas, with Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the Republicans there passed a law to put the 10 Commandments in schools. A judge struck that down. And then one school, and that judge said, I'm striking it down, but it only applies to like the 4 school districts that filed the lawsuit, or the parents in those districts that filed this lawsuit. I'm going to issue my full ruling later.
Okay.
I'm only doing this now because school's starting and you need an answer from me.
Sure.
And then one school we talked about recently, one school district is like, well, we're doing it anyway.
Cool.
And the church-state separation side is like, hey, judge, remember that lawsuit we filed that you were on our side with? Can we refile it and include this district that decided to go forward and put those 10 Commandments posters up anyway? Like, let's redo what even though we won.
We want a mulligan.
We want a mulligan, and we're going to just add that other district to our lawsuit. Can we do that? And normally you would not be allowed to just change your lawsuit like that. But the judge is like, yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. And then like within 4 minutes or something, the judge is like, oh, by the way, that temporary ruling that I made, it applies to that district too. So that's where we're at now. We're still waiting for the federal judge's ruling for the Arkansas situation. But right now, not only did they strike it down in those districts, they extended it to another district. And then in Texas, they passed a law.
Secularism is spreading. Our plan is coming together.
In Texas, they passed a 10 Commandments law. A judge struck it down there.
A Texas judge.
I mean, a federal judge based in Texas, yes. Struck it down, but only in the districts that sued. And that's kind of where and the Texas lawmakers, Attorney General Ken Paxton already said he's appealing it. And that's kind of where we were at. Okay, so there's 3 things that have happened that I wanted to bring your attention to since that federal judge issued a temporary hold on the Texas districts. Okay, three things have changed. One is that both sides have argued the law is on our side because after the judge struck down the 10 Commandments law in Texas, the church-state separation groups, they sent a letter to superintendents all across the state about a month ago saying, hey, all you superintendents, we just wanted to let you know, we filed this lawsuit against the 10 Commandments law. A judge just ruled on our side for the districts involved in this lawsuit. So we're letting all of you know this judge looks like he's going to rule against you too. So for your sake, don't do it. We're just letting you know.
Don't waste your time and effort and money.
Yeah. That's one thing. And they said, I know school hasn't started yet. It's August 21st when we're sending you this letter.
Happy birthday, Mom.
But we're going to sue you if you don't listen. And we already won this thing on a small scale and it's coming soon for real. So don't do it. Don't waste your time.
It's just a gentle warning. You don't need to do this. Right. You don't need to waste your time or effort.
Yeah. And they even said it in their letter. Even though your district is not a party to the ongoing lawsuit, all school districts have an independent obligation to respect students' and families' constitutional rights.
Okay.
And then they very specifically said, don't do it.
Okay. And this is coming from one of the secular groups.
All the Freedom from Religion Foundation, Americans United for Separation of Church and State.
This is the way the wind is blowing.
The ACLU, yes.
Don't bother. We're going to win. We're not bullying you. We're just letting you know them's the facts.
Days after that.
Oh, boy.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sends his own letter to all those districts.
All districts ever?
All superintendents of all these school districts in Texas. And he says, if you were not part of this lawsuit, if the parents who sued did not have kids in your district, go ahead and put up the posters.
Really?
Yes. Because again, the Texas law specifically said, if you are sued over this, I got your back here.
That's right. I forgot about that piece
which means taxpayers are going to pay the expenses if you get sued. But Ken Paxton's, he specifically said schools not enjoined by ongoing litigation. If you're not told you can't do this, you must abide by Senate Bill 10 and display the 10 Commandments.
So it's not you can if you want to, it's you have to.
Right.
So basically what he's saying is, I am going to make you all use your valuable time and resources to print out these things, put them up on walls.
Donations, put them up on walls. Yes.
Somebody's using money and materials to make these things, even though every sign is pointing toward this is going to be pulled down. So he's wasting the time and efforts and materials.
That's what happens when you're running as a Republican for the U.S. Senate from Texas.
Okay, I just want to be crystal fucking clear about what he's doing.
Paxton then added, the woke radicals seeking to erase our nation's history will be defeated.
You can't say something that funny when I'm drinking water.
I did it on purpose when you were drinking your coffee.
Holy shit, will you say that again? I need to hear it. I just need to hear it a second time.
The woke radicals.
Yeah, that's us.
Seeking to erase our nation's history.
Always what I'm doing.
Will be defeated. I will not back down from defending the virtues and values that built this country. By the way, you know who built this country? Slaves. Which he doesn't want to talk about.
So fucking funny as like a low-key history buff when these people are hollering about protecting their history. It's like, you guys wrote all of the history. It's all shit you made up. And like, don't be mad that we're not playing your little kayfabe game and pretending that like, oh yeah, we're just going to pretend that slavery never happened and white people were always nice. And oh yeah, the Native Americans, they're probably going to all die out anyway because of war. No, definitely we didn't do anything wrong, and I love us, so that's forward as usual.
Development number one is that you have every school district that's not involved in this lawsuit caught in between listening to a right-wing extremist who has a lot of power or a coalition of First Amendment experts who actually know what they're talking about and have and will sue them if they violate the law. And again, if you don't know enough about this and you're just a superintendent trying to run your damn district, it's like, who am I supposed to listen to here? What do you want me to do? Like, it's not necessarily an easy decision if you're in their shoes.
Yeah.
Even if, don't listen to Ken Paxton.
Well, because even if you're talking about soliciting donations and things like that, that's man hours. That is hours out of people's lives.
Okay, development number two.
Great.
When the school year began, some school districts listened to Ken Paxton and they told teachers, you got to put up the poster in your classrooms because, like, don't be mad at us. It's not us telling you this, etc.
Whatever.
But there was an NBC News article earlier this month that noted how some teachers were either defying or planned to defy the Christian nationalist intent of the law by doing various things. And by the way, all these teachers requested anonymity because they did not want to get in trouble.
If you guys didn't see the video, Hemant just literally rubbed his hands together like a mischievous little rat cartoon.
Yes. So here's from the NBC article. One unnamed teacher in Southeast Texas said she's playing a risky game after deciding she won't display the 10 Commandments in her classroom at all. But if she must, she said, she will hang it upside down. Okay.
Oh, Oh, that's really interesting. That's a really good method.
Another teacher said her district is diverse, and because her school includes students of different religions, she decided to hang posters of other religions' tenets around the Ten Commandments poster. The displays included the 5 pillars of Islam, the 4 noble truths of Buddhism, and a list of Hinduism's ethical principles, which include nonviolence and truthfulness.
Put up the satanic tenets. Those are really good ones.
Here's another one. This one actually put her name. Aja Farrow, who teaches English and theater to students ages 10 to 14 in a rural area of North Texas, said a local church has announced it would be donating posters soon. When that happens, Farrow said, she plans to design a world religions wall to be inclusive of all faiths and ideologies.
Good for her.
And then she actually said, and I'm quoting, "We have teachers who have Bible verses, as well as teachers who have photos of them with their LGBTQIA plus partners. That freedom should be there. But to mandate one walk of life, one religion, it's extremely unconstitutional. And I plan to be as maliciously compliant as possible so that all of my students, regardless of religion or lack thereof, feel valued, comfortable, and seen."
The next words out of my mouth were going to be malicious compliance because that is exactly what they need to do.
There are these teachers who are bravely doing this thing because you are following the law by putting up the poster, but they didn't say more specific stuff. So it's like, take the loophole route. That's what conservatives would do.
I'd say once a week I think about that weird sample poster that somebody used where they put up the 10 commandments next to the 10 commandments. I think
Louisiana's attorney general
once
did that.
a week because it's truly one of the funniest things I can imagine.
Yes. Third development.
Oh boy, yeah.
This one may be the most significant. Is that the original order from the federal judge, it only applied to 11 school districts. But obviously, a lot of other districts have now taken Ken Paxton's advice and put up the commandments on their own. Well, guess what? The church-state separation lawyers, wherever they could identify, we know where this is happening, where the district put up the posters. And if they can say, not only do we know which district that is, we have parents who are willing to fight that. They announced this week that they have filed a new lawsuit, basically doing what they did in Arkansas. They are going to the federal judge.
And saying we have all these other people we want to tack on.
We want to tag them on to our lawsuit. Here's what they said. The plaintiffs also plan to file a motion for a temporary restraining order, these new districts. The parents plan to file a motion for a temporary restraining order and a preliminary injunction asking the court to require the defendant school districts to remove any 10 Commandments displays currently posted and to refrain from hanging new displays pending the resolution of the litigation.
All right.
And what you need to know about this is on the list of new school districts adding on, they include school districts in Conroe, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Frisco. Those are all among the 25 largest school districts in Texas. The original lawsuit included other ones in the top 25, which include Northeast, Northside, Austin, Houston, Fort Bend, Cypress, Fairbanks, and Plano, Texas. So all these school districts, some of the biggest ones in the state, are now part of these lawsuits where the church-state separation side is asking the judge, some of these you've already said they can't put it up, but now we have these other ones too. So this lawsuit is essentially identical to the one they filed earlier. And they just kind of copied and pasted it, but added the new details. But there is one note at the beginning reminding this judge, hey, remember, you're already on our side here. So do the right thing.
Is this the judge who already allowed the extra person to be tagged on?
No, that was the federal judge in the Arkansas case.
And this
is a different federal judge, but this is what they said.
Can they point to that to be like, they did it in Arkansas, can you do it here?
You can't, but you can point to the appellate court that oversees Louisiana that already struck down their law and said, listen to the district judge. That court already applies to Texas, that appellate court. The Fifth Circuit oversees Louisiana and Texas. So these church-state separation people are saying, hey, federal judge, not only are we right for the same reasons we said earlier, by the way, you're bound by what the appellate court already said, but since you haven't issued your actual decision yet, and he hasn't, they wrote this at the beginning. Last month, this district court ruled that SB 10 is plainly unconstitutional and likely violates the establishment and free exercise clauses of the First Amendment.
I love the flair they add on.
And in June, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit held the same, regarding a Louisiana statute similar to SB 10. Despite these precedents, the defendant school districts have pressed forward with actually posting SB 10 displays in classrooms or have confirmed they will do so shortly. And I'm paraphrasing, even after we sent them a damn letter saying don't do it.
Yeah, and it was a mean letter.
We need you to stop them, is what they are saying. So the lawsuit lays out also how they know all these school districts have done it or plan to do it. For example, in the Frisco Independent School District, they said they have, I'm quoting, they have installed 4,805 Ten Commandments posters across 77 campuses purchased by the district for approximately $1,800. They know that for a fact. Because this district said, all right, we'll listen to Ken Paxton, and we have a lot of buildings in our district because we're a big district.
And does that put any pressure on the judges of like, this is already happening, we need to...
I mean, I hope so.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, it should be an open shut case because if the previous ruling said the posters are unconstitutional, that should still apply here.
Do you know what the holdup is? Or is it just
takes
in
time
the process?
to write a 40-page concurrence.
Fair enough.
If it takes time to write up your 40-page concurrence where you're like, I know we already issued this, but I need time because I got something else to say.
I need some space to express some feelings that I have.
So I think they're just like, listen, the courts take time to work themselves out, but the church-state separation crowd is saying, you already temporarily ruled with us, and we expect you're going to rule with us in a bit.
Yeah.
But while we're here, go ahead and just extend that to all these people and really quickly issue your emergency order blocking these districts. So as we talked about when this happened in Texas, this is not a local thing. This is a warning for every district that's like playing politics with the Constitution. Because staffers and administrators at these districts, they should be focused on making sure kids have the best education possible. But they are distracted from that because Ken Paxton and other Republicans want to put up state-sponsored Christian posters while pretending those are history. Like, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of money because they are having to have their own lawyers deal with these lawsuits now. I mean, even if Ken Paxton tells them otherwise, they have to understand this is a Christian zealot who will do anything to win the GOP primary for the U.S. Senate. Maybe he's not the most trustworthy guy to listen to, even if he currently is the attorney general. And the lesson here is straightforward. If you defy the courts on this issue, you will be dragged into the courts. Right? Like if other districts want to play this game, they are also going to lose. Listen to the church-state separation crowd that knows what it's doing, not the Christian zealots who don't care what the law says.
Right.
Like Ken Paxton.
Is there, like, if all this is probably going to shake out, hopefully the way we expect it to, right? The court is...
There's no reason to think the judge is going to say anything different.
Is beyond just the threat of, you know, getting fired by the governor, whomever, like, is there going to be any consequence to Paxton, like, flagrantly disregarding law and encouraging his schools to do the same? Like,
nope. And the reason is, who's going to hold him accountable? It would be Republicans in the legislature who have the power to impeach him. And while the state house did actually impeach him.
Really?
Yep. The state Senate is like, nope, sorry, we like our corrupt dude. So they said no, so he's still in power. And he just got more. Same with Trump. The Republicans in the Senate chose not to impeach him because they were like, sorry, we have already hitched our ride on this wagon. And they've decided it's worth the cost. And those people just get stronger then, because if you don't stop these dictator wannabes early on,
they get momentum.
Yeah.
They're like mean little snowballs. They're
I'm happy
even
to
all
see
white.
the church state crowd fighting these lawsuits. It's the same team, by the way, same groups, same lawyers who are kind of working on all these cases. And you could tell, like, I'm not saying they're lazy. I'm saying you could copy paste all these lawsuits because they look identical and they're winning everywhere they go because it's so obvious.
The facts is facts.
Yep.
I thought of an idea for a game I would like to play with you, and it is Name That Appellate Court.
Yeah.
And so in bonus, I'm going to ask you, like, okay, what are they, 1 through 10 appellate?
Sure.
How do they list them? The third appellate court?
The Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, okay, what's the Third Circuit Court of Appeals? What states does that cover?
The only one anyone needs to know about is there's one in D.C. that handles a lot of business shit.
And that's the 5th?
Nope, that's just the D.C. We're special. Don't give us a number. I don't know what the number is. And the 5th, which covers Texas.
Gotcha.
And that's the one... All the lawsuits that conservatives get filed in Texas because you can cherry pick the district judge who's a Trump guy, and the Fifth Circuit's notoriously conservative, which is why it was kind of like when the Louisiana thing went to the Fifth Circuit, and they're like, no, this is totally illegal. It's like, wow, even the Fifth Circuit.
Yeah, if it's not going to work in the Fifth Circuit, it's going to work.
If you ask me, what the Seventh Circuit, which is Illinois, if you ask me random other circuits, the answer is I don't know because it doesn't matter. But the Fifth Circuit is uniquely awful.
Okay, I want to pull up a map and I'm just curious.
Yep.
It's one of those things that I say
this as a professional lawyer myself.
Yeah. That's
it?
Wow. You said we were going to have a short episode today, and we are rounding up on 90 minutes. It was not short.
Whoops.
That's
what are we talking
fine.
about in the bonus?
So, I am going to Lexington, Kentucky in a few days because I turned 40 a week from today, and I had plans and schemes, Hemmett.
Yes.
I wanted to do a big fun vacation. And that got whittled down from maybe a trip to Mexico to my best friend and I are going to road trip to Lexington, Kentucky and go to the Kentucky Horse Park. So
lovely.
God bless my best friend and her tolerance of my bullshit.
Yes.
So there's that. Do you have anything to talk about?
I read a book. I will talk about it.
Okay. I'm sure we'll bring some other stuff.
Thank you. If you watch this, we are still looking for your feedback on, do you like it when I stare at you in the camera or not?
I'm trying to decide. Do I barrel the camera like this, or do I look away thoughtfully? Do I look at my elbows in his frame? That's made me uncomfortable the whole time. We're going to get out all the kinks. And then eventually someday we will take out the video from behind a paywall. But we just need to be handled with kid gloves at this particular juncture in our video journey. Looking right into the camera.
There you go.
Like
all right,
a regular
we will see you next week. Thanks so much for listening.
Goodbye.